Roomies. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Another Roomies Review the Movies. My name is Maria, and this
Hello.
is Lindsay. We were college roommates, and Lindsay graduated with a degree in film studies, and I wrote film reviews for like almost 20 years. So now we're going over some of the films we may have missed from the past. And so for this week, it was my
Yeah.
choice to pick the film that Lindsay hadn't seen, and that film was 1999's Go. And
Yes.
yeah, I remember seeing this movie. I think I saw it in theaters actually.
Hmm.
Um, but I really liked it. It was very different from a lot of stuff that was coming out at the time that was geared towards my age group anyway. So,
Hmm.
but it stars.
Yeah.
It's got a pretty big cast. Like a lot of names you would still recognize today. You got William Fincher, Katie Holmes, Jay Moore, Sarah Polley, Scott Wolf, Tay Diggs, Breckin Meyer, who is in so many things, right? Because he was also in Clueless. Timothy Oliphant, Desmond Askew, Jane Krakowski, J.E. Freeman, Melissa McCarthy, and like this is her first film.
Yeah. I noticed her. I was like, is that Melissa?
Hmm.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So it was what was really unique about the movie to me is that what was really unique about the movie is the way they tell the story. So
Hmm.
you get the story from a few different points of view, and it doesn't all come together until the end, um,
Hmm.
which is one of the things that I really liked about it. It was very unique to me. And first, you start off with Rana, who's like working. She's a cashier, at this local mini mart, and this woman is like,
Hmm.
upset with her because she was like, "What about my double coupons?" And Rana's like, "It's on the receipt where it says double coupons." She's like, "I could
Right.
have your job, or I had your job, or something." She's like, "Okay, well, look where it's got you," because she's over here
Right.
looking like a mess with her baby
Right.
crying in her ear. Like, you want this job, you can have
Right.
it. Like, what do you mean?
Right. I was like, that's not a selling point, but all right.
Mm,
Like, that's not a
weird
dig.
flex, right? Not at all. And like, she's Rana's late on rent. She needs like $380. I was like, wow, what was rent light back then?
Man, and in
Oh
LA at
man,
that.
right? And she's supposed to be 17.
I thought she was playing when she said that.
I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but whatever. So I was like, dang,
Hmm.
but I just so where is rent is 380. That's it. Oh, we can do that,
Right.
So her coworker, British Simon, is like, "Hey, pick up my shift for me. I'm going on a trip with my boys to Vegas. I've never been to her. It's really great. I'll pay you ahead of time. So she agrees to do that, does that, and then these two guys come through, and they're very trying to be very charming or whatever. They're like, "Oh, where's Simon?" Because apparently Simon is an ecstasy dealer and they want some ecstasy. And so Ron is like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll try it. I can do that for you. I can totally do that." So she's just gonna go to the supplier and say, "Hey, one time only, let me get this. Let me get these ecstasy pills, right?" Because she's like, Simon overcharges for them. I can get them for what he gave me, and then still have some extra money and cover the rent and all that stuff, right?
Right. Right.
So she goes to try and get the pills, and the drug dealer is very skeevy. Like
Yeah.
he's so gross.
You
And
know, honestly, everybody looks gross in this film.
everybody looks gross in this film. Yeah, I guess they do.
Yes.
It's
Like, yeah.
even Katie Holmes' character is like she's never met a brush like in her life. I don't think.
They have never put soap to water. Like, it just, everybody has germs and they look like they've been sweating all day. Nobody knows what an air conditioner is. Like, everybody looks gross.
It's 90s grunge. I don't know. Maybe that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I cannot stand that style of filming because that's the first thing I think of. Like, y'all look like y'all stink.
Well, as long as I can't smell you, I'm okay.
Right, right.
So Rana gets the pills. She takes them over to where these guys are. Another guy comes off, and they're all clearly like he's clearly a cop. Like he's just very very clearly a cop.
Right.
And so she asks where the bathroom is. She tries and flushes the pills. She flushes as many as possible before she, just gets out of there. Now she doesn't have the
Mm-hmm.
pills. She doesn't have the money for the pills because she left her friend as collateral with the drug dealer.
Right.
And then her other friend actually
That's
took some of the X. So now he's high and useless. So she's going to
right.
the drugstore
Right.
to
So
try and
she
get.
already she didn't have enough. She didn't have enough for it to be considered distribution anyway.
Right. Right.
You know.
She didn't have the right
So
amount, but still.
that's the irony of this whole movie. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So, but yeah.
Yeah, because when she goes to the dealer, she's like, I need, what was it, like 2020s or something. And he's like, oh, so
Mm-hmm.
just the amount you need to get arrested? He's like, no, here's 2015s.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, she flushes it
Yes.
anyway. And, you know, the dude is so clearly a cop. It's like, it's so bad. Like this. And he like gave her a beer and everything. And that's when she's like, oh, I'm 17, so I probably shouldn't be drinking this beer. Because it looked like they weren't going to let her leave.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. So yeah, that was a whole botch deal,
Hmm. So
and
she
it
wants
just
to
seemed
like
like the cops were winkies.
no. And like she wants to return the pills that she didn't sell to the dealer, right? And now she's at the drugstore trying to match him up to like whatever Tylenol they have, puts all that in the bottle and gives it back to him. And he lets her have like $50 of what she gave of him, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now she's got all these other, random allergy meds or whatever. And so she decides to sell those at the rave to make the money. She makes like over $400.
Right.
And word of it gets back to the dealer, and he goes out there looking for her, finds her, is like threatening her, pulls a gun on her and everything, and she's backing away from him when she gets hit by a car.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
the car stops and like turns around and then like dumps her body in a ditch before they drive off.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That was weird. And then she still was alive. She
Yeah.
just laid
And
there.
she was just unconscious, in a
Mm-hmm.
coma pretty much.
Right.
Um, and I'd forgotten about how that ended, right? So
Mm-hmm.
she got hit by the car. I was like, oh my god,
Right.
because this is also a Christmas story. I forgot to mention. This is all,
Yeah. This is
yeah,
one hell of a Christmas.
right. Especially with Ron about to
Mm-hmm.
be evicted, like literally on Christmas.
Right.
Like, how heartless is your landlord? My God, like,
Hey, maybe he needed them extra funds for Christmas, and you messed up his plans.
oh my goodness, that's not her fault. You got to manage your
Well,
finances, bud.
it kind of is her fault because me managing my finances is being a landlord. So,
Nah. On Christmas, come on, wait a day at least. Come on.
hey,
They don't cost you that much more for a day.
it don't, but you can't be mad at him.
Yes,
He's
I
well within
can. I can be mad
he's
at all
well within
landlords,
his right. He
but
is well within his right.
uh,
Then you gonna play on my heartstrings?
yes,
No.
yes, because we're supposed to be a community.
Mm.
Community
And
doesn't let
that's
each other go
one
homeless
extra
on
day.
Christmas.
That's one extra day of lights, one extra day of gas, one extra day of water that you probably not gonna pay. So who's supposed to pay that?
Take it to court.
And then court fees and time.
She'll pay for all that when she's found whatever.
Yeah, but it's time consuming when I can just kick you out and get
No,
another person in
no,
here.
no. Oh, not on Christmas. No, it's not happening
No,
anyway.
but you
Nobody's
know
moving on Christmas.
right. But the apartments got to air out. They got to clean it up. They got to fix stuff.
But none of that
So
is
the
happening on
faster I can
Christmas.
do that,
Everybody's closed. Just let her stay the night.
no,
Yes, yes,
no.
yes,
Mm.
yes. So Simon, Simon is going with his buddies to Vegas, and apparently because he fell asleep first, they put him in the trunk. Like,
I do not want to go out of town with them
what?
people.
No, turn around right now. Let me
Right.
out. We're already done. And
Right.
and one of them is played by Tay Diggs. He look. I think this is like one of his first roles almost. But
I
like
can see
I
that.
didn't remember like his apparently it's like his whole storyline in Vegas, which was just like racist things happening to him all night long.
Man.
And there
From
were
the
things that didn't
friends
even catch.
down,
But
like,
yes, it was just like don't go to Vegas, black people.
man, every sign for him not to be in Vegas.
Because one of his friends is talking about he wants to use the N word because his mother's mother was like half black or something.
Yeah. I
So,
tweeted about that. I was like, I'm already irritated. It's
and he
not
was
because
like,
we're not doing
"Please produce a picture of this Nubian princess." Like you're talking,
it. Right. Right. I'm not gonna have a picture on me. Okay, well you can't
right?
claim that shit.
Right.
Because we're not
And
about to
then
do
he,
that. Well, everybody from Africa. No, we're not about to do that. No.
no, 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 no.
No, we're not doing that.
And then he has this like mustard colored blazer on as part of his going out outfit. And like from the moment he
Hmm.
puts it on, they're clowning him. And then like the entire city is clowning him. Like he goes to the restroom and this guy's like, "Hey, can you hand me a towel?" And he does it, and I was like, "No, don't do it." He thinks you work there, and he tips him because he thinks he's a bathroom attendant because of his jacket, right? And then he's
Right,
out of
because
the
of the
front of the
jacket and
hotel.
because he's black.
Yeah, exactly. And then he's standing outside of the hotel, and this dude just hands him the keys to his car, like, hey, like he thinks he's the valet driver. And at this point, he's just like, you know what, forget it. And he takes the car. So it's
Right, because
him.
that's what he get.
Yeah. So now it's him, Marcus is his character's name, and Simon. And so they've taken the car and they're going to this place called Crazy Horse Strip Club. And what's interesting here is when you have the storyline with Rana and she's at the drug dealer is getting the phone call. And the phone call is from Simon in Vegas asking him about, hey, what was that place you told us about? So you have those two storylines crossing over
Mm.
there, which is just kind of fun. And Marcus is telling Simon, hey, when we get in here, you can order anything you want except for champagne. Because if you order champagne, they're going to take you to the
Hmm.
champagne room, and we cannot afford to pay for that. Now, unbeknownst to Marcus, Simon has the drug dealer's credit card to hold the room, and he brought it with him.
No, remember he know that because they had a whole dialogue about it
Oh, I thought
when
it
they
was
got
another
the
one of
room.
their friends he talked to about that.
I thought it was Marcus he talked to about that.
Yeah, either way,
Oh, you could be
he.
right, but you forgot the part where he had the threesome.
Oh, has that happened yet? God, Simon gets into
You
so
know,
much
remember
in
that?
this storyline.
Right, right,
Oh
right.
yeah, because
But
when they
remember
first
that
got there, they
happened
did
after he
crash the
gave him the
wedding.
wallet.
Right.
Hmm.
He had crashed his
Yeah,
wedding, and they just gave him cake and champagne, and he's talking to these two girls, and everybody's getting along, and they went back to their hotel room, and they're smoking, and the one girl stuffs tissues up her nose to smoke because she's like,
yeah.
that's the only way I can hold it in. And Simon's like weird, but whatever. Um,
Right.
and she's smoking, and of course they get caught on fire. And she thinks she put them out. And at this time, like everybody's making out, they're all going at it. He's in a threesome with these two girls he just met, and then like the curtains are on fire, but he's like so in the throes of passion, he doesn't really realize they're real.
Right.
So the alarm goes off and everything, and that's when he runs out at the front, and that where Marcus is at the front, he just got the keys tossed to him by that guy for
Hmm.
like a red Ferrari or something. I don't know cars. So
Hmm. Yeah, that's what it was.
okay. I was just the first stereotypical one I could pick out in my mind. So Um, so they take the red Ferrari off to what was it? Oh gosh, what was the name of it? To the strip club. And of course, he tells
To
them not to
strip
order
club, yeah.
champagne. And of course, he orders champagne because you tell Simon not to do something, he's gonna do
First
it.
thing we ordered,
He
right,
said, "I want your most expensive bottle of champagne." So they set down the
right.
rules of the champagne room, and I can't remember like when Chris Rock's champagne room came out, if it was like before or after this. But
It
the
was the
rules
same
of
year.
it was the same year. Wow. Okay. But the rules of the champagne room are you can't touch the dancers. They can touch you, but you cannot touch them.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Simon loses it and touches the girl like both hands full open. You're like,
Right.
and so the lights come up and everything. The security comes out. They're oh, and then like Simon had stolen a gun, like because the gun was in the car. The gun was in the car,
We
so
were running the
Simon had
car, yeah.
brought the gun inside, and security came out. He shot at them, shot this guy in the arm, and they ran out, you know, and everything. And after they left, the people who own the strip club were talking about what had happened, and this guy says you can't let some rapper with a white with a white friend come in with a gun. You got to pat him down first. I'm just like, gee, golly,
Wow.
Marcus isn't around, and he still got. I was like, that wasn't even his gun. Like, what?
Right. Like Marcus was the most intelligent person in the room, but he got stereotyped and
Yeah,
everything. But yeah, but hey, it be like that,
just like
unfortunately.
wow, wow. I didn't remember all that,
Yeah.
like that kind of commentary, but that was kind of funny. Because especially in the
Mm-hmm.
'90s films, you would have that one black character just be like, "Yeah, you know, what's up?" Whatever. Like from if you never saw
Right.
Not Another Teen Movie,
Mm-hmm.
they make a point with that
Yeah.
character.
Yeah. Yeah. And like the parodies start pointing it out a lot
Yeah. Mhm.
because it got to be like pretty much like a caricature,
Yeah, it
you
was
know.
totally.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
So they flee the strip club and everything, but they have the credit card. Of course, they don't know it belongs to somebody completely different out in LA. They just have his name that he's in LA. So they're going to look him up.
Mhm.
So from that end, the story changes again to Adam and Zach. And Adam and Zach are the two guys that were from Rana's storyline who wanted to buy the ecstasy, right? And so
Mhm.
they star in they're like these soap opera actors, and I was like, how are they like? Why would soap opera actors ever try to buy drugs off a cashier? Like, you would think, you know, they would have people
Be
for
a
that,
bit more
but
discreet. Yeah.
right, they would know somebody who knows somebody.
Yeah.
But they're also in a relationship. Like, they're secretly
I
together.
did not catch that.
Hmm.
I didn't catch that till way later. Like, how did I catch that?
Well, they weren't. It was supposed to be a secretive relationship anyway. Um,
Yeah.
but they've been busted for hard drug possession, and so they've been coerced into working for Burke, who's the police detective that really tips it off that Rana is dealing with a bunch of cops. Um, they have them wearing a wire the whole time when they do the whole setup to buy the drugs from Rana because they're looking for Simon, and they're not really looking for Simon. They're looking for the guy above Simon, then so on and so forth, right? And but of course, you don't know. You're just like, oh, okay, some cops,
Hmm.
right? So they send them in there to make the whole deal. And when Rana comes over to the apartment, it's Burke who really starts acting strange because one of the things they did at the supermarket was like buy a whole bunch of orange juice. Because if you're going to be on ecstasy, one of the things you want to drink is orange juice. And when when the detective comes out of the kitchen, he's like, "Oh, we're all out of orange juice." And it's like, "You almost bought the store full of orange juice. What do you mean?" You know. and
Yeah.
it's at the bus, where Zach actually secretly warns her that this is a cop, that she should go. Movie title, you know, and
Hmm.
that's when she flushes the drugs down the toilet and she leaves. And because the bus was unsuccessful, like Burke, he's got these papers he's supposed to sign to let Zach and them go free. But he's like, well, since it was unsuccessful, how about you come to Christmas dinner with us, and then I'll sign the papers? How does that sound? Like, it sounds like they don't have a choice, Burke.
Right.
And like this whole time, Burke has been making comments about their bodies out of nowhere.
Mhm.
Like, oh, you
Yeah.
look,
Yeah,
yeah.
because
It's just like,
he did fill one of the guys up. Talked
mm-hmm.
about his stomach, like his washboard abs.
Yeah, because he was like showing him how they really arrest people and how it's not like on TV shows. And then he
Right.
makes a comment about his washboard abs, and it's just like, what's going on? Yeah, what is going on?
Right.
So they, of course, agree to go over to his house for Christmas dinner because they're trying to get these papers signed. And everybody's acting very weird. Like, his wife is
Yeah.
using a mixer to make some kind of something, maybe cookies or something. And like, instead of actually paying attention to what she's doing, she's staring at him, right? And like trying to
Yeah.
get him to lick the mixer suggestively and all this stuff. And then Zach is like in the bathroom, and when he comes out, Burke is there naked, talking about like cologne or whatever, like, and finally asking Zach like how open minded is he and stuff like that. And by this time, Zach and Adam are very weirded out because who wouldn't be? Like,
Right. Right. It was looking like some swinger type situation.
mm-hmm. And that was another movie that was popular that was out during this time. But I didn't see it because I wasn't of age, so I haven't seen it. I can't say.
Yeah.
But I believe they had the same director. Uh, yeah. Hmm.
I don't know. I
So,
haven't I haven't seen it either.
oh, okay. We'll be in good company there then. So, just the two of us then.
Yeah.
But really, what Burke and his wife want is to like pitch a multi-level marketing like pyramid scheme, bullshit to them. They want them to buy and invest and
Mhm.
all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, but why all the sexual tension? Like,
Right.
and
Right.
like
I was like,
yeah,
okay. So we did all of this for them to try to sign them on to this pyramid scheme.
yes,
But the part that throws all of that off was when she kissed old boy in the kitchen. So what was that about?
right.
You know?
They were gonna seduce them into the MLM, I guess.
I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Like I would have bought it had it not been for that part.
Yeah,
Because that part throws everything off.
right. Maybe they're just trying to hit both goals. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, this movie says ACAB. So, and it seems like most movies do actually. I need to look into that. Like a lot of movies just really seem to say ACAB. But anyway, so there was also like comments being made like during Adam and Zach's storyline about, they think the other is cheating. Um, and they're making hints about, oh, they think somebody they know like is being cheated on or something, and they keep making hints about it this whole time, kind of
Mhm.
hinting like they think it's the each one thinks it's the other one, and come to find out they were actually they both cheated with the same person named Jimmy.
Right.
It's like, wow, okay. And
Right.
they're actually the ones who were in the car that hits Rana, and so they had actually gone to the rave to find Jimmy, and they cut like a lock of his hair and everything.
What was killing me was that when they were going into the rave, and they were in line comparing notes.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell is this?
So when they leave the rave, that's when they accidentally run over Rana and like dump her body in the ditch. And
Mm-hmm.
then they see Todd with the gun, which is what really makes them back up. And so they're like, well, should we go back and help her or whatever? They're like, well, if we hadn't have run over her, Todd would have shot her, so maybe we kind of saved her life.
Mm-hmm.
And Adam realizes, they're still wearing a wire, and they don't want to be going down for a crime like this, so they go back to try and remove Rana's body, but they find out she really was just unconscious. So they put her on the hood of another car, which sets off the alarm, so people come out of the rave and everything, and like want to call an ambulance and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so they got out of that.
Yeah, I was like, that hit looked pretty serious.
It did.
Yeah,
It did. Because it seemed like she was like completely knocked out when she was on top of the car. But she wasn't
yeah.
moving or anything like that. So, yeah. And then
So
for them
in
to,
the
the car to throw her in that ditch on top of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
so in the morning, Claire, who's the friend that was being held for collateral, goes to a restaurant to meet up with Rana and Manny. Manny, who's been high this entire time off of this ecstasy and just having, radically different experience of reality than everybody else. Like in his mind, he's like dancing with this cashier. She feeds him a banana. He meets this cat that can read his thoughts. And like, just like it's just very
Right.
wild night for him.
Mm-hmm.
And like
And he took
before,
two of them.
yeah, that's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Before before Rana got hit by the car, she told him, put him in the alley, and was like, just wait here until I get back, because like you're very he got thrown up and everything, like just wait here and I'll pick you up. So he's like still waiting there,
Mm-hmm.
still waiting there. So,
Yeah.
but she Claire's trying to meet the both of them, but she meets Todd instead. They end up going to his apartment building, and they're making out on the stairs, which is just like, girl, why? He's ugh.
Yeah.
And they're found by the two victors, who are these two dudes from the casino, who are working with the casino, who are trying to find Todd, and like they're negotiating, like how to basically get even with Todd, and they come to the conclusion that they'll just shoot him in the arm, like Simon shot the other guy in the arm.
Right. Right.
And Claire is like, I don't want to see this. I don't want to witness the murder. So she just kind of leaves him.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm fair.
Yeah.
You don't know this guy.
Right. Right. Because they were gonna kill him, and she had to like bring him to reality. Like, hey, I'm a witness for one, and for two, why are we killing him for him shooting in the arm?
Mm-hmm.
So
Make sense.
yeah.
So they all agree to shooting him in the arm, and Rana like wakes up in the hospital, and then she's starting to go back to work. I'm like, girl, you literally just got hit by a car. You like take a day off. But
she
that's when she realized
she
she
need
left
money.
Manny.
Right.
So she has to go back and pick Manny up, and he's just like in the alley, looking pale and sickly.
Oh god, he looked like he was about to die.
Mm-hmm.
Like they got him right in time.
They need to give him some orange juice.
Right. ASAP.
But
So
that is Go. So I really liked it. I remember liking it a lot. The way they tell the story was very different. Having everything come together at the end, I really like it when, the worlds collide a little bit. You can see how things connect.
hmm
Um, Soundtrack had a lot of really great hits from the '90s and everything on there. And the cast is still really great. Like you still know a lot of these names today, based on their current work. Um,
hmm
I didn't know it was such like a box office failure.
was
Uh,
it?
yeah, because the budget was 20 million, and it only made 28.5.
The budget was 20
The
million.
budget was 20 million,
Oh wow.
which is not even a big budget for the time.
But I wouldn't have guessed it would have been 20. That looks like a 10 below.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm thinking they spent it most on talent
Yeah. You're probably
and
right.
like special effects and editing.
Yeah, because yeah, it yeah they spent the majority of it on the talent. Because
Yeah.
yeah, but but yeah, yeah. I don't think I even remember the movie from back then.
Hmm.
So maybe they didn't spend a lot in marketing because I was watching a lot of TV back then.
Maybe. I think I probably heard it more because of like the music I was listening to.
Okay.
So that may have been where I heard it more because I was like, oh yeah, I know this song. And this song, like, yeah, like,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
it won an award for the soundtrack actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
So what made you pick this movie?
just like how unique it was for the time, especially for like a kind of teen young adult movie.
Hmm.
Um, the way it was shot and edited, and some of the more iconic music of the time, just interesting and funny, and it's still pretty funny actually. It's very well paced for there to be so many stories, and
True.
then for it to make sense at the end. It's really well done.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I agree with the pacing because it doesn't seem like it's being rushed, nor does it seem like it's being dragged out.
Right.
None of the stories, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. Not a
yeah,
moment feels wasted.
right, right,
You
right.
know.
So they did very good with the time.
Hmm.
Um, let's see, um, could you see this movie being remade?
Oh yeah, I think you could definitely do that. Um, yeah, I could see it being remade and probably more of a style that's like similar to Euphoria or something.
Hmm.
You know, but definitely for sure.
Yeah.
And I've seen, since this film, more things using this kind of storytelling format. It's still not particularly common, but they're usually like at least one episode for whatever series you're watching where they do something kind of like this.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I can see it not being made often because you don't want to oversaturate
Hmm.
with this type of storytelling, and it's not as easy
Hmm.
as just straightforward storytelling.
Yeah, your
So,
story has to be tight. It has to make sense.
hmm, right, right. So yeah, I can see it being remade. But what drug? Because they can't use ecstasy.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah,
I have no idea, but you could even just make something up like they do on Riverdale.
yeah,
Because
right,
the drug in Riverdale is Jingle Jangle.
yeah. Or like the family business, because they came up with a drug called heat.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I didn't at first I didn't particularly care for it because I was just like, ugh, everybody looks gross. But
Nobody
as the
washes
story,
their legs.
right, right, like, and they don't use washcloths, but but as the story progressed or whatever, I didn't focus too much on that, and it was entertaining. Like it kept my attention throughout the whole thing, and then I did tweet that one detective. What's his name? Let me pull it up.
Oh, Burke.
His name in real life.
Oh, in real life.
William Fichtner.
Hmm.
He, no matter what he plays in, he's always cringe. He plays cringe very well.
He does play a lot of cringe. Yeah.
Yeah, he plays it extremely well. Like he is. the goat at playing
And
cringe.
giving you the ick.
Yes. So yeah, and he goes there, and then it turns out to be something totally different. Like he does it effortlessly. So kudos to him. But yeah. So we have our rating system, which we have one movie real trash AF, two it exists, three entertaining, four great, five a true classic. So Maria, what say you?
I think I would give it a 4.
Four.
Hmm.
All right.
It has a lot of cultural relevance, especially like for that year, particularly because of the soundtrack. Used a lot of radio hits and singles and stuff like that. Um, the way that it's shot and filmed is pretty unique. And the cast is still really well known today and it's still entertaining today,
Hmm.
even though it
Yeah.
is very of its time. So I
Yeah.
would give it a 4.
Okay. Um, I would give it a three. Because it was entertaining. It's not necessarily something that I would be like, hey, I want to go see, but it definitely was entertaining. It did keep my attention. Um, I could see it being remade, and it did, even though it was gross looking, it did age well. Yeah, yeah, I can say it did age well. So
Yeah, it's supposed to be like grimy and like,
yeah, I don't like those grimy,
yeah,
grunge,
yeah.
yeah, looking movies. Like I just makes you want to take a shower right after, which I did. Yeah,
Well,
I
then
was.
maybe it can be motivating.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, that was go.
Yes.
So, next week. Let's see. Hold on. Let me double check before I say.
I know.
Uh, let's see.
Oh yeah, this is from the director of Swingers. So yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, that's what I figured. Hold on. Let me see before we even go there, because I have a feeling because it was on Netflix,
Oh.
but it doesn't look like it is anymore. So let's see. But it is on Amazon Prime. So we're gonna stick with Tupac because his birthday is the 16th.
Okay.
So Above the Rim.
Above the rim. Okay.
Yes. So we will be reviewing Above the Rim next week, and yeah, um,
Sounds
but
good.
yeah, Above the Rim was a really good film. So I would be anticipating your tweets on it.
Yes.
Yeah. So Maria, where can we find you?
You can find me online anywhere at VALARMOR dollars. That's Valor More Dollars. And where can they find you, Lindsay?
You can find me everywhere at L_Renell. Right?
What about the issue talk?
Yes. Yeah. So also another podcast as well. The Ish We Talk, which is me and my cousin. We're going over a variety of topics. Um, what we've been doing these last couple of weeks is talking about Vanderpump Rules, the reunion. And it's so funny because we're not. He doesn't watch it at all, but
Hmm.
I have peeked in over the years, and but because of all this scandal situation going on, and this reunion being as ghetto and ratchet as they come, it is quite entertaining. So
All right.
yeah. So have you guys went back live again with your other podcast?
That will be in June. Mhm.
We're in June. Okay.
I
You
know.
have a date?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, we're anticipating that as well. All right. So, you guys, this is episode 28 of
Wow.
Roomies Reviewed in Movies. And yeah, we're getting up there. And so we will see you
Yeah.
guys for Above the Rim episode 29. Bye.
Bye.